Sakura versus Haku should have happened in the Naruto Shippuden series. First off, Zabuza and Haku are still one of, if not, my favorite villains in the entire Naruto franchise. What a pair of badasses to kick off this amazing series, this amazing anime, this amazing manga. I can't be alone in saying that this Naruto hit such a peak so early with these two villains, and the simple fact is, Sakura in this Land of Waves arc, Land of Waves saga, didn't get to do a whole lot. She was developing a lot slower than her teammates Sasuke and Naruto, and in a lot of ways it seemed even Kakashi wasn't very confident that she would come out alive if she decided to throw hands with Haku or help out in any way physically, because really pretty much up until the Chunin exams, she really didn't get to do a whole lot. But particularly in this saga with Haku and Zabuza, she was relegated to protecting Tazuna, the bridge builder man. And I mean, she did her job well, but that was it. And I think if Zabuza and Haku had gotten past Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi, they probably would have easily thrown Sakura aside or cut right through her to kill the man. But Sakura came a long way after the 2.5 year time skip, I believe, and she had an amazing fight against Sasori of the Akatsuki in early Shippuden that really set her apart from her original form back in early Naruto. In Part 1 Naruto, honestly, she really didn't get to do a whole lot that entire half of Naruto. In Shippuden, you could tell that they were changing course for her, that she was now learning under Tsunade. Tsunade, one of the most badass female anime characters of all time, and Sakura being one of the main protagonists of Team 7 of the entire Naruto series, especially now in Boruto, has really blossomed into one of the most badass female anime characters of all time. I would say she's definitely up there, and it surprises me they didn't put her in the video game Jump Force, because they're really lacking on strong female characters representation. But the truth is, if you really wanted to pick it apart, if you really wanted to add an asterisk to Sakura's fight with Sasori in early Shippuden, you could say that Lady Chiyo was the reason they won that fight. I mean, I would say together they won that fight, but it really takes away from Sakura's new badassery, her newfound strength. The only thing she had going for her in Part 1 was her chakra control, which they sort of developed, just very slowly. I think now she's more known for, yes, her healing jutsus, but really her kind of copy of Tsunade's super strength. I'm not sure what you'd call it. But she's become her own character in a lot of ways in Boruto when they let her do things. But I feel in Shippuden, during the war arc, which was sort of a mess, there was a lot of opportunities that it had, bringing back villains from the past, bringing back all these villains that we have grown to love, to hate, to despise. I mean, these characters were coming back thanks to the Edo Tensei, thanks to Kabuto bringing them all back for the war. And on paper, it sounds pretty cool. And they could have went a different direction that might have been better. I would say the war arc wasn't perfect in any way, but it wasn't god-awful. It wasn't unwatchable by no means. But they left a lot of amazing fights on the table that they could have pulled out. And if they really wanted to stretch out Naruto, they didn't have to give us the very awful ending involving Kaguya. They could have just given us these fights that made a lot of sense and got a lot of characters over. This whole arc, the war arc, a lot of it, in my opinion, was good up until Naruto shows up and basically wins the whole war, almost in a lot of ways single-handedly takes out a lot of villains that are background side characters, support characters, secondary protagonists were having a lot of trouble with. At this point, after his Biju training, Naruto became so OP, and same with Sasuke, that it started to make these side characters irrelevant. And even later on in the finishing parts of Naruto Shippuden, when Sakura joins up with Sasuke and Naruto, and they're like, we're all equals now and a team. You really didn't feel that. You didn't really feel that Sakura was on their level in any way, shape, or form. Yes, she was strong. Yes, she has definitely come a long way from her initial appearance, initial abilities in part 1. But I would have to say that she needed a one-on-one fight, not involving Lady Chio, to help her win, and not involving anyone really to help her win. And I think personally that fight is Haku versus Sakura. Haku versus Sakura really could have been an epic battle. Haku comes back, and he does get his repeat moment with Kakashi and Zabuza. That's all good and all, but Sakura was there, and they really focused in on Kakashi versus Zabuza over anything else. When I feel that Sakura could have fought Haku one-on-one and really shown how far she has come. And I mean, a lot of people might say that she's come too far and that Haku stands no chance, and I beg to differ. I feel like Haku, in a lot of ways, in their fight against he's a prodigy, and in a lot of ways was holding back against Sasuke and Naruto. And now that he's all Edo Tensei'd up, all revived, zombie-like, he can keep coming back. So that is a factor they can add into this fight. And I think easily with his speed, he could keep up with Sakura's strength. And it would be really fun to see Sakura punch the living shit out of Haku, and then to be reformed thanks to the Edo Tensei, keep coming back, but at the same time doing some major damage with his really unique, and I personally love his ice mirror technique. He could definitely pull off the ice mirror technique, really giving us that nostalgic factor from that very badass move, arguably the most unique badass jutsu we had seen in the show thus far when it debuted. But Haku versus Sakura could have been a moment for Sakura. She could have had flashbacks of her protecting Tazuna, the bridge builder guy, and feeling helpless, feeling like she really didn't do a whole lot back then, and that she needed Sasuke and Naruto to protect her, Kakashi, what have you, Rock Lee. She could have these flashbacks, and, you know, which Naruto loves to give us, flashbacks after flashbacks, but these would mean something for Sakura. This could have been a fight that really put her on the map as a badass. She goes up against Haku, the prodigy, the man who could have done so much more if he didn't die in the Land of Waves arc. But really, this fight would be a great way for fans who remember Haku and remember the beginning of Naruto and get to see her kick this guy's ass. And even if it is a zombified Haku, even if she is a little stronger than him, beating the crap out of Haku would be great. And easily he could put up a fight to the point where she's in danger. He could use, like I said before, the ice mirrors. He could use those to throw her off, cut her up, use those God, I can't remember the name. The little needle things he used to throw at her, and it would have been fun. It would have been exciting. I would have enjoyed this fight. There's a few fights in the war arc that I feel should have happened. There's a few characters that didn't get revived, or at least that we saw, that should have, because they could have happened during this war arc. We could have stretched the Naruto anime out, the Naruto Shippuden anime out a little farther, and at the same time give some shine to not only a memorable villain, Haku, but some major spotlight to Sakura. While at the same time they could have the fight with Zabuza and Kakashi on the same battlefield. So you can tell the same story, you just give a little bit of a rub to Sakura, who desperately needed it at this point in the series. Her fight with Sasori, like I said, was fantastic, and it really started to show us what she could do. But this fight with Haku, she could have used a move we never even thought she could do, a healing technique that maybe she used later on. But I feel Sakura really needed this. Sakura needed this win, and beating the zombified Haku, putting him out, having him wrap him up and seal him away. Or if they still wanted to finish the whole fight with Kakashi using his lightning blade and going through Haku once again, they could have. They could have had that happen as well. Have Sakura kick Haku's ass repeatedly. Have Haku do some damage. Have him come back enough times. And when he sees Zabuza in danger, jumps in the way. Same finish. But you get to give Sakura a little bit of a rub. A little bit of a chance. And it'd be really nostalgic. I would have enjoyed the idea of a character like Sakura who didn't get to do a lot, didn't have a very well fleshed out character just yet in part 1, but now matured, stronger, mentally, physically, emotionally, can take on a once major opponent like Haku. And not only hold her own, but really dominate this fight. But at the same time, it would be a tough win. It's a win-win all around. Like I said, I personally love the characters of Zabuza and Haku, and I feel they could have really let them shine even more than they did in this part in Naruto Shippuden. It was really cool seeing them come back. Out of all the Edo Tensei villains of the past, I think they were my personal favorites to see. And while this is happening, you have the 7 swordsmen of the mist who also didn't get to do a lot really on screen. I believe in the manga that everything that with them was off panel, and they could have been holding off Guy Sensei and Rock Lee while Kakashi and Sakura handle business with Haku and Zabuza. So much potential, so much wasted, so much I don't know, so much amazingness they left on the table that we could have had, and we could have talked about for years to come. This could have been Sakura's best fight in the entire franchise. It would have been very fun to see Haku do more. And very fun to see Sakura get a major victory right here when she needed it the most. I'm Mr. Morfetto. What do you guys think? Do you think that Sakura versus Haku should have happened on screen, in the anime, in the manga, in an in-depth way, like I do? Comment down below. Who do you think Sakura should have fought during the war arc before the end? Before the 10 Tails, all the fun stuff where she teams up with Sasuke and Naruto, before the big reuniting of Team 7, who do you think she should have fought before to really set her up to show the world that she's ready to stand next to Sasuke, Naruto, Kakashi as equals? I think it's Haku.